Well, at community college, was on the dean's list, I think, almost every semester I was there after the first one. And eventually decided to go back to the four-year school to get my degree. Not the same school, go to a different university that recruited me for football, because the other thing that I realized was, even though I hadn't played sports in 2 years, I truly missed football a great deal. To me, like I said before, it was a dream. It was very, very important to me to keep playing as long as I could. So I called a school that had recruited me when I was in high school. They were very happy to have me. I got accepted. They had the program that I wanted for academics. I was on my way. So I show up to football camp first day, early in August, as most college football camps start. And it went really well, to be honest with you. I was very prepared. I worked out a lot. I prepared for the camp. I was having the best camp probably I'd ever had in my life. After 3 days, I was starting over the guys who had been starting 2 years previous to that in the position I was in. And I was getting along really well with the team, I thought. Even though I'd taken some starting positions, they still liked me. It was a good thing. Until that third night. A guy from my hometown come to my room and said, you know, Travis, you need to come downstairs. We were staying in the residence halls, and I said, well, what's going on? And he said, well, all the rookies get their head shaved. I said, listen, I have enough problems the way I look. I do not need a bald head. All right. You know, so I said, no, I'll pass. I'm not really a rookie. I'm new. And he said, no, you know, really, he was very serious, really trying to convince me that I had to do this. And I blew him off, and I thought that would be the end of it. Well, the next morning I go to practice very early, and things had changed drastically. You know, people on the team no longer talked to me in the morning. I got a lot of dirty looks, including from some of the graduate assistant coaches. During practice, I had people giving me sheep shots. I mean, they took the haircutting thing very, very seriously, apparently. And then after that morning practice session, the captains of the team, the senior members of the team, kept the team on the field while all the coaches went in. And the veteran members stood on one side of the sideline, new members on the other, and they wanted us to prove to them that we belonged on the team. This is kind of a rite of passage, some sort of initiation thing. We were supposed to tell them who we are, why we want to be a Great Dane, which was the mascot of the school, and bark like a dog, and show them that we really want to be on the team. And I'm thinking, listen, I went to a school that played this school 3 years ago and beat this school when we played them. I don't know that I need to bark like a dog. I've already proved myself on practice field. You know, I've taken some of their positions away from that. I don't know that I need to prove myself. And furthermore, I'm standing there going, you know, look, at this point, I'm 21, 22 years old. I had this experience before. I don't want to be hazed anymore. So when it got to my turn, I left. And when I say I left, I walked off the field, I went in the locker room, I grabbed my equipment, gave it to the equipment manager, went to the coach, told him I was leaving. I told him a lie. I told him that it was because my heart wasn't in it. I can assure you my heart was in it. I didn't want to tell him that I was being hazed because, you know, when I tell people this story, they're like, Travis, bark like a dog, get over it. You know, it's not that big of a deal. Do it, play football, live your dream. What's the problem? Well, the problem is the guys at Albany didn't know that I had this hidden background. They didn't know me well enough after 4 days to know that I had had this previous hazing experience and that I just wasn't going to tolerate it anymore. That yes, I was willing to give up my dream to keep my dignity. That at 21 I had matured enough to realize there are some things more important in life than playing a game, as much as that game meant to me. But just like those guys on the football team didn't know me well enough to know that I had this hidden background, the guys at SUNY Cortland one night, during my 10-week pledge period, took my pledge class one by one to a room in the attic where it was completely dark, other than a spotlight on me, kind of like the one in the back of the room now. And there was a couple guys there to share a table, and I could tell that the room was full of brothers, but I couldn't see them because of the spotlight. And one of the guys took a pistol out and said, you need to put this to your head, pull the trigger, and when you do, say that you would die for this fraternity. And at 18, I was stupid enough to do it. Later that night, I went on a complete rampage. See, something triggered in me. And I had a complete rampage raged around the house, wrecking things, hurting people. I ended up falling down the stairs, bashing my head open, had to go to the hospital. They had to sedate me at the hospital so I wouldn't attack the doctors. And the reason I had that trigger response is because these guys gave me a bid after one rush event that I attended because I was a football player, not because of who I was, and they never got to know who I was or what my background was. Because if they had, they would have known that one night when I was 8 years old, my mother and father had a fight, and my mother left my father. And my father was woken up the next morning by a phone call from an attorney saying that my mother had a restraining order against him and that she was filing for divorce. See, my father was an alcoholic. He was very abusive, and she was tired of being his punching bag. His response to that was to go to his room, take out a gun, and shoot himself in the head, ending his life. I was there. My 4 brothers and sisters were there. It's not something you ever forget. Had they just taken some time to know who I was, they might have realized fraternity's not worth that much. Mental health issues, past traumatic experiences, can have a profound impact on individuals.